What's up, everyone? It is your girl, Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into the Dead of Night palette from Unearthly Cosmetics. So, I had this show up on my doorstep today, and I was super excited to get over here and film it, to the point where I forgot to bring some of the dupes that we need to show to compare to the palettes. But y'all know me, I'll probably try to make sure I did do a short where I compare these, even if I just do it in my house as opposed to the fancy, you know, daylight outside. But here's what she looks like on the inside. These are definitely my aesthetic and vibes. I didn't buy the other one she came out with just because it wasn't really my aesthetic or vibe. But you know, I love the color story of this one, so I had to have it. Of course, I'm going to start off by showing you the, excuse me, the one from the year before. Now, I didn't buy it the year before, so I bought this recently. This is called In the Dark, and I feel like this would be a good companion palette for this palette, so I figure we have to start off by showing both of them. And again, as you can see, there's a good amount of purples in here. This has a black instead of like the blues and the greens, but it does have a lot of the purples. So it could be an extension on for this palette as far as the purples go, because as you can see, there's only one or two purples in here, and you can get some purple shimmers out here and different purple mattes and whatnot. Plus you have that nice blue that can go with the blues in here. So I feel like this would be a good companion palette. As you can see, they don't look exact, but you know, I feel like they're similar, and like I said, I could use it as a companion palette. Next, I have the Night Flower from Lethal. Let me open this. I know they're not exact, but I feel like they have some of the like purples in here and some of the blues, so I feel like they could be like somewhat similar, so I figured I would show it. Sorry, it's hard to, there we go. I was gonna say it's hard to show because of reflectiveness, but turning at that angle, I feel like you can see what I'm talking about. Like the blues and the purple in here definitely are coming off as some of the blues and purples in here, so I felt the need to show both those. Plus, I just really like this palette, and I like to show it off any chance I get. Spoiler alert, it will be in the 2022 favorite palettes, but I'm pretty sure this palette came out this year. I'm still waiting on their holiday palettes to show up to me, but you gotta remember they're coming all the way from, where is it? I'm coming all the way from Germany, so it's gonna take a little minute. Next, I have the Cosmic Brushes Serenity palette. Everybody's been talking about this palette this year. Like, it has sold out multiple times, and people finally are getting their hands on it close to the end of the year when it came out. I think in the middle of the year or something. Didn't it come out in May or something like that? I don't remember, don't quote me. But here's what both of them look like side by side. Again, I feel like this would be a good companion palette for this palette because it has some greens, some purples, some blues to go with the greens, blues, and purples in here, and I feel like they would complement each other nicely, so I wanted to make sure I showed them. So mainly the palettes I'm showing are going to be companion palettes. Like I said, I meant to bring the Scooby-Doo and Glam Light collection off my table, but I was in a rush and forgot to. Like, I was half asleep and woke up and I knew these palettes were already here, so I was like, they just want to see these because it's like 12 a.m. and this is only my second of like 3 more palettes I gotta film with. So girls, the whole thing. So I feel like you can tell by the noise we show in the Michaela X Glam Light Hot 2 palette. Again, I feel like this would be a great companion palette because of course, what does it have? The blues, the greens, the purples. I'm loving the vibe of the patterns of the blues and greens and purples, honey, because y'all know that's my color aesthetic, so I'm happy that it's coming up. I'm seeing that pink is supposed to be the Pantone color for next year, so get ready to see a whole bunch of neutral palettes with a pop of pink. ColourPop beat them to the punch with that though, because that one and done they could have saved for next year. So then that way, you know, they have their cute little pink pop, but you know, it's like their cute little pop of pink. But you know, it's cool or whatever. I guess it doesn't really matter. They gonna get it out there eventually. So, and I'm sure they might bring it around again because they got rid of it real quick. So they might just rename it, put a couple more pink tones in it, and you know, call it a day. I don't know, because I think it was only one row of pink in that palette, and the rest of it was like, I want to say just like neutral shades, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but I bought it because it was good to fill into my other palettes. If you all will see my ColourPop palette collection video. But anyway, let me zoom you on real quick and cute. Like, if you're curious what's on my eyes right now, this is actually a collab I'm doing with another YouTuber on the Glamorous palette from Mented Cosmetics. You haven't seen the video for that yet while I'm filming this. That video will actually be going up tomorrow, and then this video will be going up sometime during the week. So this one and a couple of other videos I have will be going up during the week, but without further ado, I'm gonna go off camera, get my life in order. Don't be surprised if I come back with a blue, green, and purple look where I put like the blue and green in the crease and then we put the purple in the outer V or something like that, because y'all know that's my aesthetic, that's my vibe. That's one of the looks I love to do with palettes like this, so just don't be surprised if you see that. And you know, I'll be right back in a few minutes to get that done, but I need to take some look at me, I think, of sexy pictures of this look first while I'm thinking about it, because I messed around yesterday and didn't take pictures of a battle of the look that I'm having to redo over sometime this week, which is going to be a pain because I got to use 2 different palettes to get it done. It's just a whole thing. Anyway, I'll be right back. I'm sorry, y'all. I meant to compare this to the Minka palette from what is it, Adept Cosmetics at the beginning too. So my bad, let's just show them now, because I feel like it could be a good companion palette. So let's show them side by side. Yeah, I definitely feel like this would be a good companion palette, because you can use the fun mattes in here, and there's lots of dual chromes and sparkly shifting shades in here. Like, I'm obsessed with the shade Selena. My friend said he liked the shade Linda. I feel like the shade Luna would go really well on top of the shade Dead of Night. So yeah, there's a lot of shimmers in here I feel like will definitely go well with this palette, and I'm definitely gonna be doing a palette mashup with these, probably on Instagram, because y'all know I don't really shoot the palette mashup videos because y'all weren't really interested in them in the past. I'm thinking about doing it now for the future though, in 2023, shoot a couple just to gauge and see how y'all feel, but you know, we'll see. Anyway, bye this time for real. I tried to give y'all an editorial moment with all this blue, green, and purple, so as you can see, I popped the like lighter blue shade in here. I put the 2 different purples and put them in the crease. I put the green in the crease, did the turquoise, and then did like 3 of the 4 shimmers in here. So I just did the most, basically. I did the most. So I used this whole row. I used this whole row. And I used this shade and this shade. So I used quite a few shades in here. It's definitely giving me a miniature version of the, what do you call it, palette? The what's her name? The Michaela X Glam Light Pot 2 palette. It's definitely giving me vibes of that. Anyway, let me get started. So I'm gonna go in outer V with that deeper turquoise shade. I love shades like this, but I'm like outer V. I don't know. I just feel like it gets all the smoke that I want. I'm just gonna be like, yeah. And I was trying to wing it out to get like my you know, my cat eye shape, because that's just my preferred shape. You should shape it however you want, sis. But I already see this is gonna be like a favorite for me, because I really like this color and just the tones that she chose for this palette. Like, this is a blue, green, purple over stream, more like a blue, more like a, I guess, greenish, bluish purple over stream, because I don't feel like these are true like blues. Yeah, to me they're falling more like the greenish blue, not just a true blue, but you know, it's cool. I don't care. There's blue, green, and purple in the palette. I don't complain. So I started off with the lighter lavenderish looking purple toward the back, and then the more mauve-ish purple toward the front. So it's just gonna go over the brow bone like so. But I feel like once they oxidize, they look about the same in my personal opinion. But you know, could just be a me thing. And I stopped like right here, so halfway underneath my brow. And then I go in with the lighter one, so I mean the deeper one. So now we're gonna go in with the more mauve-ish tone purple one and start here and go toward the front. Because I'm leaving a little peak opening in between both of these to go ahead and put in the green shade. And then we gotta pop the blue in the corner somehow. So I got a whole bunch of stuff going on here, so I can't bring this purple too far down. Okay, y'all, so the camera is trying to die. I'm sorry, the battery on the camera's trying to die, so I'll be right back, girl. I might pop in the blue on its own because I had to turn the brush up at a weird angle and it was hard to do. So I'll probably do that off camera and then we'll come back and put the green in together, okay? Okay. Okay, y'all, so I just popped it in the corner there real cute. Like, now we're gonna go into the green shade. Excuse me. And start off here and bring it on down. So. Back and try to bring it on toward the front, so it'll have a nice transition blend in, and it won't be obvious that you went from one shade to another. I mean, like, as far as the blending goes, obviously it'll be from the color standpoint, because you know, it's a green going into a blue and coming out of a turquoise. So obviously not a turquoise, but you know, like, I guess a foresty turquoise is blue. I don't know what exactly it's called, this blue, but it's obvious that it's going to be different, but I don't want it to be like super obvious. I'm trying to, like, you know, make it transition as best I can. That's looking pretty good to me. Go back in with this brush and just bring it up a little bit more. It was hard to do on the other side of my face. I don't know why. I think it's because I was holding the brush up like this instead of just going across like this. That's because I already had like the other shades down. I wasn't sure exactly what angle I want to put it at, but you know. Just tapping a little bit more there. Glad I hit the mirror, not a shade. I'd be mad if I dug into a shade and felt some type of way. So, thank God for small mirrors. Dust underneath here because I feel like the primer always goes down a little too far, so I need to dust underneath there to clear that out. Okay. So I'm liking the way this looks. I'm feeling the editorial vibe of it all because I try to do a more editorial thing as opposed to what I normally do, and I got like 2 to 3 shimmers. I got 2 shimmers on the lid and 1 in the inner corner. I feel like it works. You know, like it's weird and different from a lot of stuff I normally do, and that's what I was trying to go for. This look, because I've done so many blue, green, and purple looks this year because everybody's coming out with a blue, green, and purple palette. So I was like, I need to, you know, do something like unique and different with it. And not just do a traditional everyday look. I mean, I know lots of people wear those traditional everyday looks, so I'm not trying to shade anyone if that's the look you wear. It's just because I like to do a whole bunch of fun, different stuff. I was trying to, like, you know, be in my fun, different zone. So now we're going to start off with the green on the back of the eye. And just kind of brush it on here. And of course, y'all know I'm going with the shade toward the back of the eye when I get done, so blend it in and make it look more matchy and have a nice transition, if you will. But for right now, we're just gonna go about right here with this one, and then the rest of the way I'm gonna go with the purple, and then I'll go back over with the green to mesh it in with the purple as best I can, considering how contrasting the colors are. But now we're gonna go into the purple shade, which has a purple to, like, you know, blue shift. It has a really strong blue shift in it, which I'm here for and loving. Y'all know I love a blue, purple, blue, green, purple moment, so both of these on the lid is just working fabulously for me, darling. So that's what we're working with. I told y'all, as usual, I'll be trying to make my own little duochrome situation, and when I turn my head, what does it look like? It looks like I made my own duochrome, or triochrome. I guess that would be considered triochrome because it's just one green and it's like blue and purple, so I'm trying to make my own triochrome moment, so I'm putting a little bit of green back over top of that just to make it transition a little bit better. Now we're gonna go in with the turquoise shade, and well, not turquoise, but like the foresty green blue shade. And then I don't know what to actually call this color, but I'm gonna go back with that. I tapped into it just a little bit just to get more dimension and dust back over, but I didn't try to do too much. I think I'm gonna touch up the green a little bit as well. I'll just take whatever's already in the brush and just kind of dust into the crease. Because sometimes I feel like the sequin gets a little high. The shimmers get a little high for me putting the glitter glue. I'm gonna try to put that on, and I want it to be obvious. I need to put a little bit more of the glue in too, because I feel like it is somewhat disappearing. Especially when we put the shimmer in, I want it to still be seen when we put the shimmer in the inner corner. So pop a little bit more on. So where's my inner corner brush? Now we're gonna go in with the shade that's the name of the palette, which is called the Dead of Night, the deep dark navy bluish purple shade. Pop that in the inner corner. I don't normally do a really deep inner corner, but I thought it'd be something fun and different because I usually always do a bright one, so I'm liking it. Plus I feel like it just goes in perfectly with that blue shade that I put on, so I'm living for it. I'm liking it. Take my clean brush and dust once more. I just put a black pencil on the waterline so that way I wouldn't have to worry about other things. So let's back it on up and talk about my thoughts about this palette. Because if you all remember the last palette I tried from them, I believe it was like the Halloween collection. I wasn't really feeling one of the palettes because the shimmer in it was kind of, you know, well, it was pressed too hard and messed up. And the funny thing is, like, I heard another girl mention on Instagram about how she had the same issue with that same palette and literally that same shade. So I don't know if it was just certain batches of that shade that came up wrong. I'm talking about the Weirdos palette from the Halloween collection. If you all remember, you saw I had scratched into it in order to get it put on the lid. Another YouTuber said she didn't, I'm not YouTuber, another girl said she didn't get to use the shade because it came hard pressed. I'm like, well, scratch it and put some mixing medium on if you want to use it that bad. I don't have any other explanation. I don't know. But she said she's going to see, so I'm like, I hope it works out for her. But on to this Unearthly Cosmetics palette. I love the color story of this one. I was impressed with the formulas in here. I will say I'm not feeling the sequin shade. I hate when she puts sequin shades in the palette, and the fact that there's two of them, like this gray is sequin and then this shade is sequin, but I have enough other shades to work with to where like those two don't matter. Those are shades I just probably won't ever touch because they're sequin shadows and I don't like that whole aspect. But I like the palette overall. Y'all know this is my color story and aesthetic, and the fact that she made a more fun grungy version of it, it's definitely a vibe for me. I feel like this will actually really pair well if you have the Not Normal palette. I feel like this would pair really well with that because you can use some of the greens in that along with the greens in this, and then use the blues in here to go with that one for more of the neutral shades that you want. Like there's a gray in that palette that I can use. It doesn't have sequins in it like this one does, and I feel like these lighter purples might go well with some of the deeper purples in there. So I feel like this would be a good companion palette for a couple of the palettes that Amanda already has in her collection. I'm going to put this within the dark and use it with that, and I'm going to use it with Not Normal in the future and let y'all know how that goes. But I like the palette. I think the quality is good on this one compared to the Weirdos palette with the shimmer issue I had. The shimmers in here are a little pressed harder though. I feel like I had to dig into certain shades a little bit, like the shade Forest. I feel like it was pressed a little bit harder than I liked. The shade Star picked up nicely, and the shade Dead of Night picked up nicely. It was just Star that I feel like it was a little bit difficult to pick up on the brush, but otherwise it worked out fine. I got my crazy fun eye looks that I like to do, and you know, I'm here for it. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. You can comment down below and tell me how you feel about this palette, how you feel about the blue, green, purple palette movement, because I'm telling y'all, I feel like every time you look up somebody coming out with a blue, green, purple palette, a blue, pink, and purple palette, or just a blue and purple palette. But you know, I'm here for it, and it's a vibe. But I want to know what you think about it down below. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.